Hello, Phil here from Authentic Vocal and welcome to another video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you guys appreciate the fully authentic vocals that are featured in this video and that you enjoy the analysis as well. So this is going to be an interesting one tonight because we're going to be taking a look at two performances from 2017, and these were different nights in Pasadena, I think it was. So the reason for this request was because somebody was asking me about buying U2 tickets to see if they had a history of singing live or using backing tracks, anything like that. And I mean, as much as I think, well, I probably already know the answer, the reason that I get so many requests to take a look at so many different bands and artists is because people don't know. They don't know who is using backing tracks or singing live or using auto-tune and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we will jump into this, and I've got the crowd shot footage up on screen. I wanted to at least look at something, even though to begin with, we're going to be listening to just the band, well, the guys without Bono and his lead vocal, because we want to gauge what's going on with the band first. So this is the first thing that we listen for, to see if there's any kind of backing track element in there. So let's have a listen to this. And I've panned both performances left and right so you can hear those. They're both playing back at the same time. Now, you're going to have to listen out really carefully for this, but you can tell there's a slight difference between right and left on the snare, you know, coming in, you know, hundredths of a second after, you know, the one on the left or one on the right. But what we have here is a drummer playing to a click track. So this is something that is going to keep time, and I think it's something that's becoming a lot more regular to see drummers keeping time to a click track, because sometimes when you are playing live, and I've looked at performances from 30, 40 years ago where the drummer or the band get a bit excited and start pushing the tempo, and they get to a point where the singer's struggling to get all of the lyrics in because it's so fast. Or you have the alternative where it's all a little bit slow and it starts to drag. So drummers are making sure that, and the band are making sure that they're in just the right spot, timing-wise, to get the same feel as the original. So I will bring in Bono's vocal now so that you can hear, or see if you can hear any difference between the two. I mean, already in the left channel, Bono's slightly behind with his phrasing compared to the right. But we still know that the drummer's playing to a click track, so that's not because of, you know, the track slowing down and the band slowing down. It just happens to be the fact that he sang at a different time on another night. So yeah, I mean, not that you would expect it if you were a U2 fan, but this is absolutely two separate live performances. And what I want to point out is, just from a technical standpoint, with Bono's voice, it's great to see his voice on screen, because his vocal style, you know, if he was lip syncing to a pitch corrected studio recording, it would just sound ridiculous because of the personality in his voice, and just his voice in general is so unique. But yeah, if he was lip syncing as well, you would lose so much of the expression and the fact that, I mean, U2 are the kind of band that are just going to get up there and play live. So you're going to see a unique version of that particular song on that particular night, and it might be different the next night. And that's what, you know, bands like U2 do. They're just going to play, and you know, you can either like it or not like it, but they're never going to change what they do. Again, listen to that change in timing from the left to the right on that line. But anyway, yeah, what I wanted to point out about Bono's voice when looking at it on the pitch graph is the way that he's close to notes, and like here, absolutely spot on the A4, but, and then just above the G4 here, he kind of gets straight into notes, hits them right between the eyes, but then has other notes where he's quite far off. And that's basically his overall sound, is that, you know, he can be a little bit all over the place, but then he nails the note, and then he'll be a little bit more all over the place, and then he'll just hit you between the eyes with another spot on vocal. So this is why it's so unique, because only he sings like this, and this is why it sounds unique, is because of the way that he's not trying to sing between notes and then hit one exactly kind of on the line or right between the eyes. It's just the way that he does it. And if you were to change that, if you were now to put every note on the lines, you wouldn't be listening to Bono sing anymore. And of course, you don't need me to tell you that none of these lines are going to overlap each other, just in case you're waiting for me to drag one over to the other side. Yeah, it's not going to happen. These are two totally separate vocals. I know that people are going to say, "Oh, well, just drag it over just to, you know, prove the point." It's not the same vocal, but let's move this one over here. And there we go. We get that kind of thing. No matter where you try and match it up. Actually, look, if I get these bits to try and overlap here, that's what happens to this top section. It's just, yeah, never going to match. None of this is going to match up. So let me move it back over here. Listen on. I mean, then again, I mean, look out for this, just right on that E4, and then slightly sharper the G4. And then look at that, E4, bang on, E4, bang on. And again, hear how out of sync that vocal went. And the reason that I'm saying to look out for where it goes out of sync is because of other videos that we've looked at where the whole performance just sounds identical from left to right, you know, on different nights of, you know, tours and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you can hear the difference. Again, such timing differences, and when I always say about when lines overlap to the 100th of a second, there's always something a little bit suspicious about that. Because to get that timing perfect from one night to the next is impossible. Let alone hit exactly the same pitch at the same 100th of a second when you get to that point on both nights or multiple nights. Yeah, so now we're really out of sync, because what's happened is, in the right channel, that performance is now moving on with the song. In the left channel, Bono's still talking to the crowd. Great example of what happens when you play live and everything's genuine and there's no backing track elements. There are no backing track elements here, by the way. This is just them playing live, and just the instruments that they have and the sound that they are making is what we're hearing. So on one night, Bono might interact with the crowd more than on another night, but because they're not playing to a backing track, it means that the band are just going to loop it around until they can see that Bono's ready to move on, and then they get on with the song. So listen on to this. And you can hear, actually, and we got the Edge putting in just a little bit of muted strumming going in, yeah, that left channel, again different to the right channel. So yeah, now it's sounding totally different because we've got into the song again in one side, and then the other side we're obviously quite far behind. When you're watching a great band live, they'll just take you where they want to take you at that particular point, and they've got the freedom to do what they want to do. Even when playing to a click track, it doesn't even matter that much, and the drummer can go out, you know, with that click track and then bring it back, because he's got that going all the time in his ears. He can just go for a bit of a wander if he wants to and then bring it back to tempo. So that's the important part, is that you can always get back to the original tempo of the song. Yeah, so I'm just trying to hear it, even though we've got both at the same time, and trying to hear it independently whilst at the same time. And we've still got even tempo, but we're in different places. So that's why, yeah, sounds a little bit weird. But, I mean, it's a great example of the difference between, you know, this kind of sound, which just sounds like two totally different things going on, because it is. The difference between actually playing live as a band with no kind of backing track, or no, you know, lip-synced vocal or pre-recorded vocal, or a song that's just going to be the same every time you play it. You know, every song's got now the potential to be a totally unique version of it on that night. So yeah, on this evidence, you know, U2, and I wouldn't expect them to go down the route of the whole backing track, lip-syncing thing. They're going to give you a totally live performance night after night. And you can go to a show like this. If you live in this area, you could have gone to one night, and then the next night it will be different. That there might be something different that happens, because they're not just going through each song one after the next, after the next, after the next. And it's not something that's going to be time coded either, you know, for either pyrotechnics, all that kind of stuff, which on very strict shows are set to go off at particular times. They're not focusing on that. They're focusing on the music here, and yeah, the entertainment and the show is all part of it. But I'd say that a lot of the entertainment comes from the fact that the music is the entertainment. It is live. It is ever changing. It's ever evolving. And that is where the entertainment and the enjoyment comes from, that you know you're seeing something totally unique. I mean, it might be a quicker video for tonight because it is so obvious when it's a totally live vocal and just a live band, and it's always going to be different from one night to the next. So it's great to look at this kind of performance and compare it with previous videos that we've done on the channel, so you guys can get a bit of an appreciation as for how different things sound when it's just a fully live band, even playing to a click track. You know, because the click track is still just for timing, the band has still got the freedom to do what they want within the context of each song. So there we have it. Thank you guys for watching this vocal analysis video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one.